Morning, everybody. 8:11 a.m. It is August 4th. Welcome to my channel. Now, my first day back in the saddle yesterday. Boy, was that a market that just was not very tradable. Even though one of my pre-market scenarios came out, it just literally drove and like trended up the whole day. There wasn't really a meaningful pullback. Um, Internally, we were very, very strong. I was only looking for longs after the open, but it just didn't really give me an opportunity to have a good long. I mean, I pretty much just by 11 something, I just pretty much started doing errands. There was no point. Um, Markets were just as soon as the early weakness in the Nasdaq took care of itself, that was all. That was it. So, um, what's going on now? We're gapping up. Okay, we're gapping up. Palantir had good earnings. This morning, you have semiconductors up over 3%. Okay, memory stocks are also up. So this is nuts. Really is. We're approaching like all-time highs in the S&P 500, and Nasdaq is well behind. Maybe it catches up. Okay. Today we have George Jobs. Besant was just getting interviewed and was talking about the Strait of Hormuz might be opening up or something tomorrow. That's, I guess, another catalyst for the markets. Crude is down over 3% on that. Okay, let's get into it. Welcome to my channel. My name is Steven Gonzalez. Use market profile to find structure in the markets, almost supply and demand, gamma exposure levels, the most traded price of the year, the month, the week, and the previous day. That is my edge. That's how I come up with my game plans. Now, once that market opens up, I use my market internals to see where money flows are going off the open, along with a little ICT, anchor view ups, my weekly expected move indicator for Thinkorswim that I give away for free on my Discord, along with gamma flip points, weekly and monthly gamma flip points I give away from my Discord for free as well. All that wrapped into one is my own proprietary trading system. Now, hopefully you join me every morning, give you the market story, the market news, technical analysis, and I always give you the long and short trade scenarios, NASDAQ and ES futures later on in the stream. Okay, now if you want more in-depth coverage, you are going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay, now we're going to get right into the features watch list here. Silver is up 2.69%. The Dow's up 1.11%. Nasdaq's up over 1%. Gold up 0.70. The Russell's up 0.54. ES up 0.31. Morning, Chief. 30-year bonds being bought. Okay. Dollar's flat. Ethereum flat. Bitcoin's flat. 10-year yield is down 0.26. The VIX is down over 1% at a 15.70 VIX. Crude, like I said, was down over 3% at one point. It's down to $78 a barrel. Okay, let's move on. Max Evans here. Caterpillar had earnings and they were good. Very good earnings. Okay, up 10.48%. Intel's up 5%, AMD up 4.36%, Micron up 4.28%, Broadcom up 2.5%, Nvidia's up over 1.5%, Tesla's up 1%, Coinbase up 0.69%, GE up 0.29%. Now, there's some laggards today. Netflix down 1%, Google down 1.43%, Meta's down 2%, Microsoft down over 2%, Amazon's down 2.34%. Okay, now, remember my weekly expected move indicator, right? So Amazon almost hit its weekly expected move on Monday already. Microsoft did hit its expected move to the upside already. Okay. Google also hit its expected move to the upside, so did Meta. This is not surprising. That's why I say put that indicator that I give away for free on your charts. That's not a shocker to me because I see it happen all the time. You hit the expected move on a Monday when it's supposed to be the expected move for the week. Yeah, not shocking to me. All right. Now, moving on. Top sector stocks. It's Palantir. Okay. Palantir. earnings up 15.75%. GE Vernova data center build out up 3.10. Qualcomm up 2.39. NEM mining stock almost up 1%. McDonald's up 1%. Okay, Boeing up 0.71. Laggard. Chevron's down 0.46. Exxon's down 1%. Walmart down, ahead of downgrade, down 1.40. Salesforce down 1.86. And Oracle down 1.77%. So software is starting to get a little hit besides Palantir. All right. Now moving on to sectors. Okay. Sectors, semiconductors up 3.42%. Technology up over 2%. Okay. They were well oversold when I was on vacation. And this is the result. Okay. Industrials up 1%. That's Caterpillar. Who's really lagging? Discretionary down 0.34. That's your Amazon. Okay. Communications, that's your Meta, your Google, down 0.45. And energy is your laggard, down 0.75. On to the economic calendar. Today, we have JOLTS jobs at 10 a.m. and factory orders at 10 a.m. Really haven't been a factor lately. Okay. Really haven't been a factor lately. Okay. And we go to Trump's schedule today. At 11 a.m., he participates. Let's see here. He's in Vegas. All right. But let's see here. There's really nothing. I see closed press. So I don't see anything too urgent there. We talked about the Palantir. Talked about Besant saying that the Strait of Hormuz, they're talking about opening up tomorrow or something like that. Okay, yeah, it says we may have an Iran deal tomorrow to open Hormuz. So he was on CNBC, I believe, saying that. Then in 6:44 a.m. Qatar, language has been drafted on possible U.S.-Iran deal. This is why crude is down. Okay, this is why crude is down. Alrighty, so moving on. Let's go to our more news. Apple seeks preliminary injunction against OpenAI. Merck posts better than expected second quarter results. Caterpillar second quarter profit jumps in strong power. That's construction equipment demand. Okay. Spotify forecasts weak profit as user growth slows. Nasdaq futures were up after upbeat forecasts from Palantir and ON Semiconductor ease concerns about AI-related demand. Investors will continue to digest the upcoming earnings reports from major companies, including SpaceX, which is set to release its first results since going public after the market close. All right. There was really nothing else to show you there. Now, let's look at some breadth charts. Okay, let's just see what breadth is looking like today. Still middling, 58% over the 20-day moving average. Let's do the 50. Usually line up with the bullish percent index, usually. 65% over the 50-day moving average. Now we'll go to the bullish percent index. Remember, that's just a percentage of stocks on buy signals. So, okay. 65% of stocks on buy signals. Now, if we get into, I don't have my crosshairs here. If we get into 67, 70%, start being on a lookout. Okay. Now we could stay here for a little bit, but once you get into the 67% on buy signals, let's just look back. This might, let's see, 3 years. Okay. Yeah, once you get into the 79, 70%, that's pretty overbought. So I'm going to say a little caution here. Okay. NDX, 52% on buy signals. All right, that's middling because it was hurt so bad. Okay, once you get up into the 80s, yeah, be very cautious of going long. Okay, so the NDX has still more room to go. Let's drill into the technology sector. See, it's the same as the index, 52%. Does this all of a sudden rip up to here? It could possibly can. And what's going to happen is if the NDX does do that, probably might hit all-time highs in the S&P. Okay, that's really all there, right? Now we're going to go to market internals recap from yesterday, which was very bullish. I was looking at this yesterday going, I am not shorting this. Right here, I was like, when you have, this is vol D, which is, these ratios are, in this case, volume going into up stocks versus down stocks. You had 2.37 to 1 ratio. Nice exchange, and 3.5. And that, you don't fight that. That is something you just don't want to fight. Look at that. Look at the technology was up 2.35 and grew the whole session. Top 5 sectors were all bullish. You don't short that. That's why I was looking for a pullback, and there was not a pullback. There was not a notable pullback all day. Okay, we pretty much closed at 7,600 in the SPX psychological level. Okay, we are gapping up this morning. Okay, now we're gonna look right at the daily charts now. All right, so we broke a downtrend, closed above a downtrend yesterday. Finally, very momentous bar yesterday. Because if you look at it, right, this was last week's highs. You pretty much tested that and ripped up. And what did you do? Broke a previous weekly high. Broke another previous weekly high. Two previous weekly highs at the 755s. And closed above it. All-time highs is 760. Guess what, folks? We're right there right now in SPY. We are at all-time highs right now. That is crazy. So I missed your crazy week last week. And boy, oh boy, that is crazy. Now, I would say momentum is definitely with bulls. My weekly expected move indicator of the expected move to the upside is 761. We are very close to that. Okay. And when I have multiple stocks that are important to mover markets and indexes that go to the weekly expected move early on, that is a warning for me to go relax with longs. Okay? Doesn't mean you can't do it. Because if we play around these levels, I don't see us moving much higher. If we blow through it, oh yeah, we can really go. That's how you have to look at that, those expected moves. Okay? Pretty crazy. Let's look at the futures. We are in daily supply right now. Now remember, this daily supply, nothing could take this out prior. We are back there. There's actually another overlapping daily supply. Let me put that on my chart before I forget. Let's see here. What's the low of that candle? 76.39. All right. So overlapping daily supplies. Okay. So in futures, we are not as close to the all-time highs. Okay. But boy, oh boy, broken that. When you break that 76.30 level, right, which is where our resistance was yesterday, yeah, shorts are in trouble. Okay. Shorts are in trouble. 76.32. Is that right? One of my charts says that was a prior monthly high was 76.32. Yes, right there. Right there. So we're over last month's highs, which makes sense. Okay. All-time highs, 76.94s. Let's call it 7700s in the futures. Okay. Pretty crazy. Let's go to the Qs now. Qs are trying to play catch up. Okay, now what did we do yesterday? No surprise. We came up to the 28 simple moving average, and that was the resistance. Okay. Yesterday gave you a little dipsy do, right? We opened here, pushed back, pulled back, because there was some weakness in semis off the beginning. But then money flows came right in there. You can see we broke last week's highs, closed at the 20. Now, where are we now? 707.80s. My Lord. Guess where that is? You're trying to break trend here in the NASDAQ. QQQ. Trying to break trend. Okay. Expected move for the week, 714.83. Right at the 50-day moving average. Do we get there? Maybe. Got a downtrend here. Secondary downtrend line. Also prior weekly high. Let's see what we do there. I don't know. It's a pretty momentous run right now. Okay. You can see this downtrend. Let's actually fix that. Yeah, approaching that downtrend line right now. And daily supply. Right here. Okay, so who knows what is going to happen? Okay, what I do know is this 29367 is a very important resistance area. We're in daily supply. We got a downtrend line. We're gapping up. So this is pretty much a nice rally. Okay. And momentum is definitely there. But I would say caution. Caution. Okay. Let's move on to the hourly charts. Okay, here's your hourlies. All right, in futures, 76.32 was last month's highs. We are above that, right? What a run. That is unbelievable when I wasn't here. The low last week was 73.23. And we're already up to 76.54. That is crazy. We are in supply, like I said. Okay. We'll zoom out here. All-time highs approaching. Okay. This is pretty much a very quick rally. Wow. Okay. So all I can say is that is a pretty big run. Okay. Yesterday especially just got bought up. And it's pretty crazy. A lot of short covering. Had a trend day. You don't really... Trend days are not very common. Okay. So that's your ES. Let's look at the NASDAQ together. I had this channel. I don't really think that helps me anymore. But we know the NASDAQ is relatively been weaker, right? Look at this chart. It's not by all-time highs at all. Not even close. But you got that downtrend line, right? You have heavy supply. You have the most traded price of the month. Let's call it 293 right above. Now, probability-wise, okay, remember I said a bunch of stocks that they're expected to move to the upside. SPY is near all-time highs and approaching its expected move to the upside. This has made a huge run. Okay. I would be very cautious about starting long positions on in like a swing trade. Okay, now, I'm talking about day trades. All right, so this just screams caution to me. Okay, there's a lot of momentum here, but that is a pretty big run. Okay, when you run that far, you need to take a breather. And like again, I'm just talking about probabilities. Okay, probabilities. We don't know what's going to happen, right? This was bound to happen. Got oversold. This is a very nice bounce. But all I'm saying is pump the brakes a little bit. 293s, you get over that and you got a bunch of supply. Got heavy supply here. Most trader price of the month. Maybe we take a break today, right? I don't know, right? All I can do is look at probabilities because that's our jobs as traders, right? To look at probabilities. That's how I trade, right? Hey, I've seen this before. This is generally what happens on days like this. This is generally what happens on setups like this. It's all you can do. Nobody predicts. It's just probabilities. Okay? That's how you have to look at markets if you're going to trade. Not a prediction game. It's a probability game. Here's our market profile and volume profile. Okay. Now, yesterday, we almost filled the gap, but we didn't. Okay, so we have a new week opening gap that's unfilled. It's unfilled here, and it's a tiny, very small gap from Friday's highs. Okay, look at that range, unbelievable, almost 95 points, and I had nothing to do with it because there was just no setup. I was waiting for a pullback, it just didn't happen. Okay, now we are gapping up into. Let's see, is this a supply that's been broken? Yes, it has. Okay. So you could see all this heavy supply here. That's why I'm cautious. Can it take it out? Sure. But pretty impressive run here. Okay. Now, let's just get right into scenarios here with the ES. Long and short trade scenarios here. Let's break out the session. Just like yesterday, first thing we're going to do is mark off our levels that we look at for a gap. Okay, so we have our gap fill 76.37. It happens to be demand zone starting there as well. Okay. Next thing is the midpoint of the overnight range, 76.43s. That happens to be the overnight VPOC as well. And yesterday's midpoint, 75.90s, happens to be the level I talked about. That was the most trader price of the month. Okay. Still the 24-hour most traded price of the month. Okay. So, on this 24-hour chart, the most traded price of the week has moved to, let's call it 76.30s. The market's doing its job, creating the volume that it needs to. Okay. So we have those marked off, right? Let's start to get in some scenarios here. Bulls have momentum. Okay. So a lot of heavy supply, right? I am not going to long into that supply. Nope. That's not interest to me. Okay. Now we're gapping up. So clear as day situation here is if we pull back, gap fill 76.37, you do have demand zone here. Okay. All the way to 76.26 and the 76.30s. So obviously we could pull back to the gap fill, right? That is a no-brainer. If it holds, right, you can go long there, go for overnight highs 76.57 and see how high you can go. Do we actually go up to the 76.90s and change all-time highs? I don't know. Okay, that's definitely a player. Now, a deeper pullback. Okay, you can come down to 76.30, then you have a bullish for value gap. Okay, that bullish for value gap is from 76.25 to 76.18. Any support inside there is a long. Okay, so if we come down in here and hold it, right? Boom, take over 76.30, enter 76.30, go to 76.57, overnight highs, and see if you can go higher. Notice there's a lot of pullback longs here. Okay, so what I would say is 76.30 is your like near term bull bear line. Doesn't mean it's bearish below it. But when I talk about, these are day trades, that's a mini bull bear line. A little more major one, I'd say, would be 75.90s. So these are the ones that I would be interested in, okay, for longs, what I just showed you. Okay. Now, let's get into the shorts. Okay. A lot of heavy supply up here. You have the 76, a lot of heavy supply. So what I could see here, let's say we rip off to the races here, take out the overnight highs, right? Come into the supply, rip back into the overnight range, put in a lower high. That's a good short. Where are you going to go? Take profit at the gap fill, 76.37. Then go for the 76.30s. Remember that mini bull bear line, right? If you crack the 76.30s with some weakness in the markets, you can run. Okay. I would say hold some runners, see if you can target the 75.90s. If that gets taken out, you are going to take out all of this and go back to 75.40s. Okay. If you want to be conservative, I would wait to take out the 76.30s, take out the demand, okay? All this demand, take it all out, and then look for a retest of the 76.30s. And if money flows are coming out of tech and you don't have a strong market, then you target the 75.90s. That's really what I'm looking for today, okay? Now, as far as the NASDAQ, look at this gap. My Lord. Okay. Boy, oh boy. Let's get right into the long and short scenarios in the NASDAQ here. Big gap up. Okay. We're going to break out the session. Mark all our levels off. Okay. Big gaps. What do we mark off? Gap fill. 298.65s. Overnight, 50% retracement. 29039. Yesterday's 50% retracement. 28639s. You can see the amount of stacked demand below. This tells me that I probably want to be a pullback buyer and go long. Remember, what hovers above us is 293, the most traded price of the month. Of the last 30 days of trading, it's the most traded price. That is a wall and it has supply. That is going to determine, can we go higher today, is if we take out 293 and find acceptance above it. That is very bullish. If you fail here and you can't do it at the first try, we're probably going to get a pullback. Okay? That is how I am looking at this market. Okay? So, how do we play this? Big gap, never easy to trade. Okay? However, I don't see a long I like here. Not up here, I mean. Okay? But we're going to start with longs. That's where the bulls have control. Now, what would I look for? Preferably, I'd like to push up into the 293, fail. Get a nice pullback. 291 starts a new demand zone here. Okay, down to almost the 290s. anywhere in here that gets, you hit the 29039, that's the 50% retracement of the overnight. Anywhere in here that gets some love, gets a higher low, you go long and you could target a 293. That's the beauty of 293. Okay. Now, of course, you can get the pullback all the way. There's so much demand down here to the gap fill, 289s. Boom, hold it. You go long. Same thing. Target the overnight highs, 29246s, 293s. Okay. Now, yesterday's most traded price is 289. Let's call it 289.11s. Okay. 289.11s. That's the close from yesterday. All right. That's another area that I'd be interested in to see how the market reacts there. If the market goes through it, okay, and then comes back above the 289.11s and holds, that's a long. Again, target 293s. Okay. That's kind of what I'm looking for. There's a lot of longs. You can see it, right? Okay. That is a lot of longs. All right. So really, I'd like to see the market just hold above the 289s. Okay. Now, above 293s, can there be a long? Yes, but I'm just not as excited about it. All right. So I'm not going to put it down there. Shorts. There is shorts here. Is it an easy short? No, it is not. Okay. It is not. But the level I'm looking at is, you got it, 293. So if we gap and go and we come up to 293s, okay, I need to see acceptance above 293 to make me not think of a short. If we come up here and fail, come back, retest 293s, and I'm like, ooh, people are taking profits today, you can get a short in. Okay. And I would say target the 290s. Okay. Then go for gap fill, 289.65, and then that most traded price yesterday in the close, 289.11. That would be a nice trade. Obviously, if you did want to hold a runner, okay, and if you took out the overnight lows, 28831s, boy, oh boy, this could get interesting, because then there's just poor structure. All right. And this could get really nasty. Okay. Maybe even go down to the 286s. I don't know. I think there's a lot of momentum. I don't think that happens, but this, my friends, 293 is the level I'm going to play off of. I'm not excited about any short unless there's a 293 rejection, so I'm going to keep it there. All right, that's how much I don't really like a short here, and I don't think it's going to be easy. You got to get that on. It could work, and I might look at it and go, I'm not very confident in it, and it could work. But that's just trading. Okay. Now, let's go into the overall market outlook just real quick. Remember, 7630 is the mini bull bear line in the ES. We're gapping up. We're near all-time highs, heavy supply. And remember, weekly expected moves in major stocks have been hit. I'm very cautious on going long up here. Okay. So remember, 7630, I just want to see that held. 7590 is where you get worried. We break 7590s, that's where I'd be like, uh-oh, this could go farther lower. Okay. All right. Now that's the ES. NASDAQ, it's all about the 293. 293, find acceptance above it. It's very bullish, right? If we reject here, that might be we just need to take a rest. And the mini bull bear line is 289.10s. 289.10s. You want to kind of try to hold that. Okay. You want to try to hold that. That's basically the analysis. Now, hopefully you enjoyed that analysis. Smash the like button if you did. Be much appreciated. Okay. As always, I hope you join me every morning. Subscribe, set that alert, give you the market news, economic calendar, leaders and laggards, technical analysis, and I just gave you the long and short trade scenarios in the ES and the NASDAQ futures. Okay, now if you want more in-depth coverage, you're going to join my Discord. That's Confluence Trading. Go to my YouTube homepage, click on the link, and sign up. What are you waiting for? Let me be your indicator. Okay. Now, have our game plan. have a process. Hopefully, you have your own process. However, I just gave you my game plan. All right. Hopefully, you can enjoy that game plan as well. All right. Now, remember, no trade is a trade. Be very patient. All right. A lot of momentum right now in the markets. It's a little overdone, in my opinion, but I will trade accordingly. Okay. I will trade accordingly. All right, everybody. Now, I hope everybody has a great day. All right. And if I don't see you on my Discord, I should be going live around 9:45 a.m. Please come join me. I will see everybody tomorrow if you don't see you on my Discord.